Hello, my name is Rebecca Richardson, but most people call me Becky, and this is my first reading vlog. So basically, I'm going into my last year of A-levels, which are like kind of the in-between qualifications done in England between like school and like university. And I have a lot of coursework I have to do for them, and part of this coursework involves doing an English study of like anything of my choosing as long as it's language related. This is part of my English language, funnily enough, A-level. And as I was given the choice of whatever I want to do for it, really, as long as it's like related to the English language, obviously the things we've been learning, I decided to choose a sort of book theme because that's what I'm good at. I have a friend who's doing Marvel comics. I think another one of them is doing like a leaflet for something, but I decided to go with a book theme because that works for me. That's what I spend the most of my time doing. So basically what I'm going to be reading in this is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I've already read this before, obviously. I think everybody has, but for my coursework analysis, whatever it is, I'm looking into the power in relationships, and my sort of chosen dynamic is Will and Jem from the Infernal Devices. So I have to analyse the language they use towards each other and work out who has the most power in conversation, and I also have to analyse the representation of both of their characters throughout the series and basically work out what factors of their personality affect who has the most power in conversation. All of this has to have a hypothesis, and mine is that Will have the most power in conversation because he's the more traditionally masculine character, and I have to then compare it to another book. Basically, because it's set in the 18th century, we can't really say that it fits to like these days because of the date. So I also have to look at a very similar dynamic in a more modern day setting. And so for that, obviously I chose Jace and Alec because they have the same parabatype bond thing. It's like the exact same idea, even if they have a very different dynamic, I think, to Will and Jem. So I will also at some point have to read at least one Mortal Instruments book. I think I'm going to reread City of Glass because they have a very different dynamic in the first one with like Alec thinking he's in love with Jace and all that. And then I don't think Jace was really in City of Ashes that much, or if he was like having some sort of inner turmoil as usual. So City of Glass, I think, is the one I'm going to reread. I should probably reread all of them, to be fair, like all of the Mortal Instruments and all of the Infernal Devices, but I have read them all before, so I'm just kind of using my knowledge of them, even though that was like 3, maybe 4 years ago now. But I'm just gonna hope that my knowledge of them is good enough because I really don't enjoy rereading books. I don't know why I don't enjoy rereading books. It's just not something I'm a fan of ever. It's the same with movies. I'm like, I've read it once, I know what happens, so then rereading it kind of bores me a little bit. So this is the first time I've actually reread anything, and I thought we'd start with Clockwork Angel because the Infernal Devices is my favourite over the Mortal Instruments out of the two of them. So yeah, that's what this is gonna be. I don't really know how I'm gonna do this because if I'm not enjoying this, it could take me like a month to get through it, so I'm not gonna like proper reading vlog this. Like, I'm not gonna show you every day in between now and like this time in July, but I will be giving updates on what's happening, and there might be like the odd bit of like what's happening in between. It depends, and the most of it will just be me like giving my new opinions on it because I thought whilst I'm rereading it, I might as well vlog it and kind of give my opinion on rereading a book that I absolutely loved like 4 years later. But this does mean that I need to like proper analyze it, and I don't quite know how I'm going to do it. I don't need to focus on all of the characters because it's not focusing on all the characters. I'm just looking at Will and Jem, but I will need to look at how they're represented, so I will have to look at their sort of dynamic and how they interact with other characters. Tessa will probably come up at some point. I can probably use her to refer to something. I imagine there's a point, I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure there's a point in here somewhere where she'll like compare the two of them, and I can use that sort of thing. But yeah, basically I need a highlighter and I need tabs, but I don't like actually have sticky tabs. I have like one type, I think, and they're like grey, and I would have liked to be able to colour code you, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. So yeah, I've never done this before. We're just kind of going with it. I will say that I'm a bit like worried about rereading this just because of like I'm gonna put the book, hang on a minute, right, I'll put the phone down. You're now actually resting on my copy of Clockwork Angel, so do that. Basically what I'm trying to say is that rereading the Infernal Devices is going to be odd for me just because my opinions of characters throughout the series change so much, and I am a person who has a habit of holding grudges against fictional characters, which sounds stupid, I know, but basically I have this weird grudge against Tessa Gray, and I know why it is, and everybody always has a go at me. I just felt towards the end of the series she kind of wasn't overly nice to Jem, and there's a specific scene in the last book that I just really put me off her, and did kind of put me off Will a bit as well, even though Will's never really been my favourite. And like, I know I'm going to reread it, I'm going to instantly be frustrated because I can feel myself getting frustrated about it now, which is so stupid. But I know that that's going to partially affect my chances of rereading this. But at the same time, I have wanted to reread it for a while just because I want to like read it again and be able to put those things aside and like actually try and like Tessa, because I should like Tessa. You know, every bookworm loves Tessa because that's her character. It's like, oh, I love books, I love libraries, but I just never connected to her. I was never her biggest fan. Whether that's the writing, I don't know. I don't think there's really any of Cassandra Clare's like female protagonists I really liked other than Emma. I liked Emma, but like she still wasn't a favourite. But I found both Clary and Tessa kind of annoying. So I don't know whether that's just like my personal preference when it comes to like Cassandra Clare's writing style and how they're written. But I would really like to like Tessa just because I feel like I should, and I always feel guilty because I don't particularly. So that is another thing that I will be thinking about rereading this, even though the main focus isn't Tessa, it's me analysing Will and Jem's relationship, but, you know, she'll probably come up in it somehow. But yeah, I think that's everything to kind of intro this sorted and how I'm feeling going into it. It is a little bit daunting. I'm not too sure how long it is, but I'm not going to move it because it's currently holding my phone up. But yeah. Although, in fact, I will pick it up because I need to just show you what it is that I'm working with. I don't know if you can tell, but, like, this copy is battered to hell. Because it's my copy, but then I lent it to my mum a few years ago, and she read it, like, when we were on holiday, and, like, actually killed it. And it's, like, battered as anything, and I was like, you have to buy me a new copy. I can't have that next to my other copies. It's, like, it's bent. I don't know if you can see that, but, like, look, like, the spine's not even. And, like, I do break the spine on books, but this is like an absolute mess, and I just cannot have it on my shelf. So I thought this would be a good copy to use instead of buying a new one, because obviously I'm going to be writing in it and stuff, which I don't usually do. But yeah, I do feel like, I feel dirty holding it. It's like, yeah, it's like all the pages are like a weird colour, and I'm like, yeah, exciting. That's kind of like my opinion of it going in. Maybe let's think of it as a metaphor. I'm going into it with a bit of like a dirtied opinion of it, I guess, because of sort of opinions of specific characters. So maybe by the end it'll miraculously be clean because my opinions of all the characters will be more pure, so we'll see. I don't particularly know how I'm going to update this. I think I'm just gonna, like, as and when I have something to say or some sort of change in opinion or I've picked up on something, I'll just like pick up my phone, I guess. Or if I'm like highlighting something specific. Yeah, let's read. So I bought like one of those reading stand things from Waterstones that like hold your book up, because I thought it'll be handy when I'm like trying to analyze things and I don't want to have to hold the book open. But there's zip ties on it, and I can't like fit a proper pair of scissors through that to cut it, and like I don't really know what to do. So I managed to get my thing off the zip ties, and it like holds the book open well. It's a bit awkward and it's a bit confusing because I've got to like, I had to mess around with it and work out how to get it to like extend and stuff, but it does hold it open well. I don't know whether it's something I could use just to like read in general, because it's like quite difficult, and I'm a bit concerned it's gonna like flick off and snap at any moment. But it does hold it open well, so if I have to do a lot of like analysis of a specific page, that will work well. Also, I haven't already read 138 pages. I read ridiculously slowly. I haven't even started it yet. That's just a random page. So I'm like 13 pages in, but it's only actually like 3 pages of the actual story, and I've already highlighted loads because I forgot that the like prologue is all Jem and Will, so I'm getting loads down now, and then I can kind of like do a bit less as it continues. But Jem's just been introduced, and like I forgot how much emphasis there is in this book on the fact that he's like pale and silver like the whole way through it. Like first description of Jem: the young man who appeared at the mouth of the alley was pale in the lamplight, paler even than he usually was, which was quite pale indeed. The word pale is in that sentence 3 times. That's not necessary. My boy Jem just referred to prostitutes as women of loose morals. And I'm slightly taken aback. James, we don't speak like this. I will say one of my favourite things about this book is that they constantly describe England as the most dreary, grey place. And like, yeah, that's right. It's not exactly wrong. It sounds a bit mean, but it's certainly realistic. Her teeth gleamed in the dark as if they were made of metal. I love rereading books just for the sake of the foreshadowing. So that's all I have time to actually read today. I've read 40 pages so far. I'm kind of just getting into the middle of the beginning of Tessa's story with her stuck in like the house and all of that. I got quite a few notes made on it actually. I've got quite a few tabs down because a lot of the prologue is just kind of exploring Will and Gemma's characters and sort of introducing them, and so there's a lot between them that I could pull off and lots to highlight, and I'll like annotate it at a later date. But yeah, at the moment it's just like getting through Tessa's stuff. I know the story, obviously I've read it already. I know that like very soon she's about to be rescued and then they'll be taken to the institute and blah blah. But yeah, 40 pages in, I'm getting through it quite quickly, I think, because the font's quite big. So like as much as it's like an almost 500-page book, it feels like less because the font's like a decent size. So yeah, that's the beginning of that. Hopefully I'll get more done tomorrow, and then hopefully I can get it done as soon as possible, really, but we're just at the very beginning now, so yeah. I'll quickly go over the sort of colour code I'm using for this. So as far as the actual tabs are concerned, because I managed to find some other ones, this like purpley bluey colour, these are things about Will. So anything that I can use that's sort of representation of him as a character. These like darker pinker ones are like conversations between him and Jem, where it's sort of showing the like representation, the relationship between the two of them actually in conversation. And then this kind of like lighter pink colour is the representation of Jem. And then inside, the purple is all of the stuff about Will that I can like pull from, all of these little quotes I can refer to if need be. The yellow again is sort of things to do with both of them and their relationship and the way they speak to each other and interact with each other. And the blue is Jem and like his representation. So there's only a few there because I'm right at the beginning, but hopefully by the end this entire book will just be filled with them. But like I said, that's all I have time for today, unless I read some later, but I probably won't. I kind of got myself into Sims again, so I'm probably just going to play Sims, but it's Love Island now, so that's obviously more important than my coursework, you know. So yeah, hopefully I'll get more read tomorrow. How are you today? Hello, it is the next day now, it's Wednesday, and I haven't got any reading done yet. I could have been doing some reading now, but I decided not to because I had quite a busy morning. I was at my friend's from like 9:30 playing Monopoly, which I don't know if you can class that as busy, but it's been a stressful week already. It's only Wednesday, and we were like, let's just play Monopoly for 3 hours. I did that, and then I had a video to edit, which is taking so long to upload, and then I was like, I could just sit and watch YouTube, or I could actually get something done because I'm going to the cinemas at like 3:30. And so it was either read or write, and I need to get like roughly 10,000. Oh, my laptop's gonna switch off. I need to get like 10,000 words done a week at the moment. That's kind of my goal, and I've still got like 4,000 left to do for the week, and I don't like doing it on a weekend. I kind of give myself the weekend writing free at the moment. So I think I'm gonna try and get even like 2,000 words done because I've only got like an hour before I have to leave. So we'll see. It should really be okay because I'm like at a good point in it. I'm like close to the end, but in a bit that's all right. Like I should be getting excited about it, but I don't know, for some reason I'm just really absolutely hating writing at the moment, and I just want to start my new project. I think that's what it is, but like we're getting through it, we're getting there. So I'm going to try and see how much of this I can get done, and then I might try and get some reading done after we get back from the cinemas, depending on what time that is, but it should be before Love Island. So again, we'll be reading in between Love Island. Alright, so I have done an hour's worth of writing. I got about 1,000 words done, which is alright. It was just kind of like pointless bits that like just like those like middle scenes where nothing's particularly happening. We're just going from like one place to another. So I'm going to the cinemas now, but hopefully when we get back I can actually get some writing done. I got 40 pages done yesterday, and I'd like to hit 100, but I think that's a bit ambitious, bearing in mind it takes me ages to read. So if we can even hit like 70, 80, that would be great, because obviously I still have to like highlight bits and things. So yeah, I'll see you then. So in the end I didn't get any reading done yesterday. I just got home from the cinemas and decided to play Sims for about 5 hours, but I will be getting some done today, definitely, because I have time today. I do also need to get some writing done, as I mentioned yesterday, but I only technically have to write about 3,000 words, so I should hopefully be able to get at least some of that done, and then I can finish tomorrow. But yeah, the rest of the time should just be reading. It is currently about 10 o'clock in the morning, which means I have a few hours because I have to go to my sister's school at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Basically, it's their sports week this week, and they're doing this like charity fun run thing today, and it's a family fun run. And so she's asked if I'll do it with her. So I have to go run a mile this afternoon because I couldn't really say no. And I don't think I've run since like year 8. So I don't even know if I can run anymore. I don't know if my legs will physically move that fast. Probably not. So yeah, it's like 4 laps I think around the field, which I went to the same school. So if the field is as big as I'm thinking it is, it's going to take me forever. But I'm hoping it's a case of like, I was tiny when I went there, so it's actually not that big, and I just remember it as bigger than it is. I can hope. That's like the one thing I'm relying on because I cannot run a mile. Pete, how are you this morning? Thank you. So I just realised not only do I have to actually run this afternoon, but also the weather's decent. I haven't been outside all day and it's sunny, but I just assumed it was like cold anyway because it was like 13 degrees and raining yesterday. But that heat wave everybody's expecting in Europe apparently is starting today, and I checked the weather and it's about 19 degrees, and I'm like, why? It's been raining all week, and then the day I have to go outside and run a mile, it's like 19 degrees. I must sound so lazy because I know there's people who like run every day, but I just don't. I don't exercise. I don't have time, and it's warm. So I'm trying to get some writing done, and it's just like not working. I don't even know why. I don't know why I'm struggling so much with it at the moment. It's just like I'm just like not in it whatsoever, and I don't even know why I'm not in it because I should be. There's always a point I find when I'm writing a book that I kind of hit and I'm like, wow, this is horrible, everything's bad, and I get into a real slump with it. And I've sort of hit that point, but the issue is because this book is shorter, that point has come around very close to the end of the book, and it's frustrating because I should really be enjoying this bit. I should be so excited. I was excited when I was planning it to like write this bit because we're sort of right at the end now, but I'm just not. I just have absolutely no want to sit here and write this. I'm supposed to get 3,000 words done between today and tomorrow, and I just don't care. I like genuinely don't care, which I should care because it's my story, but I just don't. I do not want to be sat here writing, and it's doing my absolute head in. I just I really hate the majority of it. I hate all of it at the moment, and I just don't want to be here. I don't want to be sat here writing, but I have to. It's got to get done, but I'm not having a good time with it at the moment. I just hate the entire thing, to be honest. It just it doesn't sit with me. It all just feels crap, it all feels bad, and I don't know why. I've just got absolutely no motivation to write. Every moment for the last like month now, I've thought about writing. I've been like, oh, for God's sake, do I have to? Like, I just really am not enjoying it whatsoever. And I do think it is this project, and I do think it's partly because I really want to get on with my next project, and I've been writing this series for 5 years now, and it'll never be what I want it to be because I started it when I was like 13, and I'm just like sick of it at this point. But I have to get it done, and people keep telling me every time I bring it up, they're like, oh, but it's the last one, it's got to be brilliant. And I'm like, yeah, you think I don't know that? Of course I know that. So I don't think that's helping either, the pressure that people keep putting on me to like write this amazing last book, which at the moment just feels like utter crap. I'm really not in the mood, and I hate the entire thing, but you know, it's gotta happen, hasn't it? So it's only been like 5 minutes since I last picked this up, and I've only wrote about 200 words today, but I've spoke to my friend, and we've sort of decided that it's best that I just take a break for like a week and just hope that I somehow build back the motivation afterwards. In a way, it's a bit of a risk taking a week off because like I don't really have a week. I have a month till I go on holiday, and I need it done, and I'm still probably about 30,000 words off finishing it, but I'm just hoping it is a bit of a gamble because on one hand I might take a week off and then just kind of find my motivation again and get it done in like a week, or I might feel just as crap and then be more frustrated about the fact that I feel just as crap and it'll take twice as long. I think I just need a break. I've been stressing myself out with it so much because I've realised since finishing school that I don't give myself a chance to have a break. Like I thought I'd finish college for the year and then be like, oh, everything's great, I can just like de-stress and like play like Pokemon or whatever, and I haven't. Every day during the week I've been forcing myself to get up at like 9 o'clock and either write or read or like edit a video or film a video. Like I'm always doing something. If I take a moment to like stop, I get like really guilty about it, and like I'll be sat watching like YouTube while eating my dinner or something, and I'm like, you shouldn't be eating dinner, you should be working, which is stupid. Of course I should be eating, but like it's just, I don't know. So I've decided I need to de-stress because I'm so stressed about it at the moment, and I'm just going to take a week off, I think, and I'm going to go for a walk now and enjoy a bit of the weather, although I might still need a jacket because it's probably windy. But yeah, I'm gonna put my headphones in and go for a walk. I'm not gonna take the dogs because the dogs stress me out. And I'm just gonna like disappear. It's the middle of the day, so the kids are at school, which means I can walk past the park safely. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a break from it and focus on reading and just de-stressing, because that's another thing. Even reading, sometimes I'm like, I should be reading when I don't want to, which I am struggling a bit with Clockwork Angel, and like remembering to pick it up, just because, like, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, I don't enjoy rereading books, but I do need to get it done. That's my coursework thing. But hopefully kind of cutting out writing for a week should work. I suppose, you know, if halfway through the week I decide I'm in the mood and I want to write, then I'm not going to tell myself I can't, because like I need to be in the mood. But I think just taking that pressure off myself to like, you have to sit down and write, and just doing like, if I want to, and just focusing on other things will hopefully de-stress me a lot, because I'm so stressed about it and I hate all of it and it's just really getting on my nerves. So yeah, I was going to hit 90,000 and then stop, but I don't think I can. We've stopped at 87,000. So yeah, I'm just going to go for a walk. Alright, so I'm dressed. I'm gonna go for a walk because I just need to clear my head. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm at the end of my tether emotionally and mentally at the moment, but I just need to get away from my desk and I feel so much better. Is this vlog going to be called Rereading Clockwork Angel or My Slow Demise into Insanity? Let's find out. I don't think I've ever took my camera out in public. People keep looking at me. But there's dogs around, so I wanted to try and film them, but they're with people. Alright, so I'm back from my walk. I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm hot, obviously, because it's warm outside, but I feel better. I've got about 2 hours, I think, till I have to go do that run at my sister's school. So I think I'm going to just watch some YouTube and maybe have something to eat. And then I might do some reading, depending on how I'm feeling. But we shall see. But I am feeling a lot better now. So, alright, so I just got back from the fun run. It was alright. I ran like nearly 3 of the 4 laps, kind of against my own will, more down to my sister and her friends, and I'm absolutely knackered, but I got kind of popping some chocolate out of it, so all is good. So I think I'm just gonna like sit and watch YouTube. I could read, but I have such a headache and I'm so tired. I just need to eat and like watch crap on TV. But I will definitely be getting some reading done later, so the next time I update this will probably be later, because the England women's football team are playing their quarter match in like a few hours. I have an exercise class, and then I think they're on after that. During half time I get some reading done, because I usually get a good bit of reading done during half time. So yeah, that'll probably be the next time we speak, which for me is like hours, but for you is probably like 2 seconds. I don't even know if you can hear me over the TV. But why, when she's literally kidnapped, she's being held hostage and a man breaks in, and the only thing that comes to mind is, he had the most beautiful face she had ever seen. Okay. She's literally just describing his whole face. What? Hello, so it's the next day now. I got 10 pages, I think, read yesterday, which isn't a lot, but like I said, I only had time sort of in between matches to read, but I'm free all day today, since I decided I'm not going to do any more writing this week yesterday, which means that I'm hoping to get like a good, like at least 100 pages read today. I'd quite like to try and get halfway, but I don't actually know if that's possible, really. I am reading quicker, just because I'm not like, when I'm reading a book for the first time, I read really slowly so I can like make sure I take everything in, whereas I've already read Clockwork Angel, I already know what happens, so I'm kind of reading it like a bit faster than I usually would, because I'm not too focused on like processing everything. So that's the plan for today, just a quick catch up on what's happening. I'm gonna just be reading, I think, for most of the day, and try and get some highlighting done and some of my colour coding stuff, which I'm like actually really enjoying. I enjoy colour coding, so yeah, I think that's it really. Hello, you. The holy trinity of Tessa lines in this book have to be: she can't have tattoos because she's a woman, she can't fight because she's a woman, she can't wear trousers because she's a woman. So I'm on about page 107, I think. I think it's looking alright at the moment. I'm absolutely obsessed with all of the little tabs in it. Yeah, so I'm going to take a break now, and I think I'm going to go for a walk, and then I might try and get some more done. If I can get another 50 pages done today, that would be great. So far, it's just exactly as I remember it, although I will say, in all of my attempts to like Tessa more in this, she's actually annoying me slightly more than she did originally. Yeah, I wasn't expecting her to get on my nerves more, but that's kind of happening. But I'm trying to like turn a blind eye to it, I guess, and just pretend that she's not got my nose so far. Every time she says something that kind of niggles me a bit, I'm like, just pretend she never said that. But we're getting through it slowly. I'd like to get halfway by like the end of the weekend at least. But yeah, I'm obsessed with the colour coding, and I think that's what's kind of getting me through it. Although I don't know if you can tell, the dark blue is Will. Will talks in this book so much more. The light pink is Jem. Jem has only been in the prologue thus far. He's in the next chapter because I recognise the scene and I was like, oh, Jem's in the next chapter. But I'm 107 pages in and Jem's only just about to show up outside of the prologue, and it's making me realise how Will-centred this entire book is. So I might end up having to read the second one as well because I think Jem's in that one a bit more, although I don't want to. Yeah, I should have expected going into it to have that amount of blue in comparison to everything else. Hello, it is Monday now. I'm speaking a bit quietly because there's still people in bed. I didn't vlog anything at all over the weekend because I didn't read anything over the weekend. We were busy. We did go out to an arcade yesterday, which is why I didn't get most of my reading done yesterday, but I did get some footage of it, which I'll probably like, I don't know, put here or something. But because of that, I didn't really get much done. But it's the week again, and during the week I've been trying to get a lot done, and since I'm not writing all the time, as we saw earlier, I am going to try and get halfway today, I think, because I really want to get on with it. It is boring me a little bit, just because I know the plot line already. I've already read Clockwork Angel, I don't need to reread it, which is why I don't usually reread books, but obviously it's important. So yeah, I'm going to get through it. It's just kind of taking me time, so yeah. So I don't know if I mentioned last time how far through I was. I can't even remember the last time I actually updated word or page count. But we are 159 pages in, and I'd like to get halfway today, which will be about like 240 something. It's a bit, it'll probably take me a few hours, but I do want to get through it. I've started cutting down the size of the tabs, so they like look slightly better. But when I start annotating it, because I'm not annotating it now, I'm just highlighting and tabbing the things I'm going to go back and annotate. When I do that, I might change the tab colour. I might get some new like fancy tab colours that match the colour of the highlighters, just to like, I don't know, like stationery. So yeah, I might do that, but I'd like to get halfway today, and preferably I'd like to have it finished by the end of this week. I just have like no self-control, and I'm just like, I should finish it, but then every time I think about it, I'm like, but you could be doing something else that's more fun. But I have to get through it. I gotta get through it. So I've finished reading for the day. I didn't get halfway as I would have liked to, but I'm just like, I'm such a mood reader. I can't read unless I really want to read, and I'm tired and I don't want to read, so I'm not going to. So I'm on page 210. I've read like 50 pages today, which is alright. That's like what I usually attempt to get done in a day if I sit down and read. Tomorrow though, I am definitely going to hit halfway. I'm going to aim for like 245 probably, but I would like to get past it even just a little bit. But yeah, thoughts so far is everything's exactly as I remember it. There has been bits that I can like skim because like I already remember them. I'm like, I don't, all the bits where she's like explaining how like the Shadowhunter world works and like what Shadowhunters are, and I'm like, I've read like 15 of these books now. I don't need you to explain to me how Shadowhunters work again. So I can like skip past all of that bit and the scenes that I remember well and things. We are about to go into the like vampire ball bit, which I only vaguely remember, but I remember it being a good scene, so I'm looking forward to seeing that again. Camille was just in it, and Magnus was name dropped, so I'm like super excited to see Magnus. I forgot he was in this one. That I just kind of get through some of these books sometimes just on the hope of an eventual Magnus cameo. But yeah, other than that, everything's been exactly as I remember it originally being. I'm not enjoying it as much as I did the first time around, but I was expecting that because I've already read it before, so like I know what's happening. There's no like gasp, shock, horror moments because like I already know the plotline, I already know the characters. I am enjoying picking up on all the foreshadowing though, and I will say some of it is like horrifically obvious. I think the phrase "his teeth gleamed like metal" has been used at least 5 times so far to describe the like robot things. But yeah, It's alright. I'm not going to say I'm massively enjoying my time. I am enjoying kind of revisiting bits and revisiting characters. I forgot that Jem actually has more of a sense of humour than I remember him having, which is fun. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Is there a goat man out here?
So it's the next day. You'll be glad to know that I actually did get halfway with reading Clockwork Angel. I actually got slightly over halfway. I read like an extra 10 pages and I was like super proud of myself. Hopefully I should get more done later because I have stuff to do. I'm actually about to start filming, hence the makeup. I know, wearing makeup in a vlog. Who would have thought? So yeah, I'm kind of like dressed up, but I'm also still wearing my pajamas. There you go, there's like a little insight. I only put a top on. Pajamas are still on from below the camera. But yeah, I'm gonna get that done. We're all set up, we're all ready to go. There's my camera. That's how this tripod system works, it's just books. So I finished filming. My voice hurts because I talk really loudly and I smile a lot. I don't know why I do that. I nervous laugh all the time in videos. I have the videos of me like so like my face hurts a lot. That's done for the day. I filmed 2 videos. I think they're going up in a different order to what I filmed them in. One of them was really ranty and I feel kind of bad about it. I was trying to give like serious opinions and then I don't know, it just kind of opened a can of worms and everything just spilled out and it went on for a very long time. So if there's a very long video about TV shows out soon, that's the video I'm talking about now. I'm definitely going to eat because I need food. And then I should read. Again, I'm not really in the mood, but I'm never really in the mood for it, but I will read. That's the point in this vlog. So I will read. Part of me's like, Mum's not home, that means I can watch YouTube on the big TV, but like, I know I should be reading instead. Peter. You're coming downstairs. Up. You come in. Come on. Oh, he's got. Oh. Oh. Oh, hiya, Paul. Oh, here he comes. Yep. And again. How's that? Oh, yay! Since I'm home alone, I get to just like carry my camera around, which means you get to watch me do really interesting things, such as putting fish fingers on a tray, putting said fish fingers in the oven, putting the fish fingers in bread. Hello, it's me again. I am gonna get some reading done today. I want to get halfway today because this is going on forever. I don't even know what this vlog's gonna be like, to be honest. Like, I keep forgetting what I filmed and what I haven't. I don't even know. Did I update you on my writing yesterday, or was that the last thing we saw? If not, then I got about 1,000 words done and I was really happy with that, but then I didn't get any more writing done. I tried to get a bit of writing done, but I read like 2 pages and put it down again because I just wasn't in the mood. So today I want to get halfway because I probably won't get much done for the rest of the week. Basically, tonight I'm babysitting my sister and a friend, and then it's the next England World Cup match. So really I've got like this afternoon to get some of that done. I'm just editing a video now that I'm going to watch some YouTube to like unwind a bit, and then I'm going to try and get halfway because then tomorrow I am filming, but I'll be like bulk filming a few videos, so I'll probably be doing that most of the day. And then the next day I'm in Newcastle because I'm going to a cat cafe with my mum. So as much as I won't take up the whole day, it'll take up like a good bit of the day, so I might not get too much read. And I need to get like in gear really with my reading when it comes to Clockwork Angel, because I keep telling myself just like, you don't have to read now, just put it down. You don't want to read, it doesn't matter, but it does matter because I want to get it finished, because I was hoping if I could finish it sooner rather than later I could read something else before I go on holiday, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. But I'm doing my best. I'm getting through it slowly. I will get halfway today. I will. If the next time I pick up this I'm like, well, I didn't get halfway, but please unsubscribe. Please, because I don't deserve to have this channel. I will get halfway today. I'm like about 25 pages off halfway, and I like the next scene. I know what's coming. Magnus is in it, for God's sake. I should want to read it. Magnus Bane is there. So I will get halfway today. So I'm 252 pages in, which means I'm over halfway, which is what I wanted to accomplish for the day. I might get some reading done later, it depends. Sometimes I read during half time when the match is on, but I think we have people coming around to watch the match today. But if that's all I get done for the rest of the week, then I'm happy with that, because at least I've made it halfway. If I can make it to 300 by the end of the week, then I'll be happy with myself. And then I've got less than 200 pages left, and then I might have time to read something else before I go on holiday. I don't know. The quicker I can get it done, the better. Magnus just came into it, which was great. They're currently in like De Quincey's party when they like kill people and stuff. I think if I remember correctly, they were just at the bit where they were like looking through the people, and there was like the chair and the vampires, and like they were waiting to see who'd be tortured and stuff. And I think this is when Tessa's brother comes out. I think that's what happens next. And then there's the scene where like Will bites a vampire. So it's like a most vivid memory I have of this book. So everything's kind of like getting to the fun bits that I remember well, and Magnus is in it, as I mentioned again. As soon as he showed up, I was like, hey. Everything's good. My aim is to reach 300 by the end of the week, so I don't know when I'll next update this, but I suppose you'll see in like a few seconds. The irony in Tessa saying to Jeb that it's hardly worth living a long time if you're going to look like a silent brother. Oof. So I've read another 50 pages. I don't know if I'll get anything else done today, but I'm glad I got through those 50 pages. I'm over 300 pages in now, which is brilliant. I think I'm on like 304. We just passed the scene with the like vampire ball thing where they're like trying to like kill Nathaniel, and the scene after that when Will's like dousing himself in holy water. We just got past all of that, which is like the main bit of the book I remember. I will say I'm looking forward to finishing it, even if the last bits have kind of been like my favourite bits so far. A lot's kind of kicking in, and it's quite funny rereading it, all the stuff I realise again, like Will's really getting into like full Herondale mode now. Like he's full Herondale from the beginning with all of like the quippy arrogance and whatnot, but he's got into like nobody understands me, I'm just so shrouded in mystery, like that kind of Herondale like broodiness. That's all just begun. So yeah, I will say one thing that I found quite funny rereading it is that I don't quite understand when people only read Clockwork Angel like for the first time, how they like favoured Will. Like I'm not one for this whole like team Gem, team Will thing, because I think it's stupid, but like I don't rereading Clockwork Angel, I'm like, how did people read this for the first time? And like just like Will. Like there was a bit where one scene before Jem was like talking to Tessa because like Nate was like dying or whatever, and he's like, oh, are you okay? Everything will be fine. He has this whole like speech just after they're talking about the Silent Brothers, which I absolutely hate. Cassandra Clare wants us to cry when we reread that bit. But like just after that, and he has this whole speech about how, you know, she's like the flame inside the lamp and all of this, and you know, it doesn't matter who she is, it's about who she wants to be and all of that. And she's like, wow, thanks Jem, that's great and all that. And then like literally in the next scene, Sophie's like about to lose her head because Will keeps throwing pails at her and calling her a whore. And I don't know how people read those kind of bits and were like, oh Will, he's the sweetest. I don't quite understand it. I get it later on when all the stuff about the curse and that comes out, because I think that's one thing that made me like Will more. Like out of the Herondales currently, he's not my favourite, but I'd say he's like up there, and that's mainly because of the stuff that came out about like the curse, and that it just made him seem like a lot more complex, and it kind of justified his actions in some way. But like just without knowing any of that, just reading Clockwork Angel, I'm like, how did so many people? All I can think is that it's because he's constantly described as like the most handsome angel boy on the face of the planet. Like I'm assuming that's what it is. But yeah, it was just something that made me laugh. But I don't know if I'll get anything else done today. I read like 50 pages, which is usually like, if I'm not really enjoying a book, 50 pages is like what I aim for. And I might get some done tomorrow, I don't know, or it might be Friday, but I suppose you'll find out in a moment. All the exciting video content you don't get to see by the time editing finishes. Hello. I don't actually know how long it's been since I picked up the camera. I decided it wasn't worth me literally vlogging every moment I'm reading Clockwork Angel because it's taking me so goddamn long to get through it. The dog's just arrived. Anyway, so I have 100 pages now left of Clockwork Angel, and I thought now would be a good time to pick up again, just otherwise this was going to go on for so long because it's like an absolute mess, let's be honest. I don't even know what I filmed and what I haven't filmed. It's probably just lots of clips of this roughly, just with my hair in different states. So this is what we're at the moment. Lots and lots of sticky notes. I need to cut some of them down. But as you can see, that's all we have left to read, that bit that hasn't been sticky noted yet. which is 100 pages. I'm going to try and get 20 done now just to get me to like a nice round number of 400, and then I'll have roughly like 85 pages. I'm trying to get it to a nice round number of 400, so that's like 80 pages I think from now, and then I'll have roughly like 84 pages left to read, and I want to get it finished by the end of the week. So hopefully I can remember to pick up the camera and film a few like little vloggy bits, because I'm really bad at doing that, if you haven't already noticed from the state of this. But yeah, because I go on holiday next Thursday and I need it done before then. There's lots of things actually I was supposed to get done before holiday that I haven't got done, but this I will. So yeah, I'm not going to give my opinions on anything now. I think I'm going to wait till I'm a bit further in, and then the end. I just got to the bit where the like clockwork things are literally just about to like attack the institute. They just realize like, gas, the full moon's tonight and whatever, that kind of bit. So like that's literally about to happen. We've passed all of my favourite bits now. My favourite bit in the whole book is, sorry, there's literally dogs everywhere. My favourite scene in the whole book is the bit on Blackfriars Bridge with Tessa and Jem when they're fighting the Clockwork Angels, and then they like follow them back to the Institute. And we just passed that, so now I'm just kind of like waiting for the book to end. It's like I care about the Jem scenes. When Jem's not there, I don't care. But yeah, we're nearly there. I don't know when the next time I'll pick this up will be, but it'll be soon, because I'm being well behaved. I'm being a good vlogger. Into me for some reading, Pete. Yeah. Thank you. So I'm just up to that bit, like page 396, where Mortmain just showed up on the steps of the Institute because like everybody else has gone to like storm to Quincy's house or something. And like I forgot how such like a good liar he is. He's sat there like, oh, you're Tessa, wow, I've never like seen you before. Oh, I'm just here to pay my respects. I'm just here to see some people. I definitely don't have an army of robots waiting to kill all your friends. Okay. If the Magister finds out that I've told you all this, my life could be in danger. Shut up. So I'm officially 400 pages into Clockwork Angel. I am going to do like a catch up on what I've thought so far, because I've only got like 85 pages left, but I thought I'd just mention now that I think I'm going to get it done over the weekend, because it's Thursday now. I have a load of filming to do today. I'm pre-filming 4 videos for whilst I'm away, so I probably won't get any done today, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think I'm just gonna like try and get it done. Oh look, there we go. Video spoiler. Yeah, because if I worked out if I read like 30 pages a day, then I'll like basically get there. So that's the plan. In case you were wondering what my setup looks like, I don't have a tripod and I'm filming like against a wall today instead of my desk. So it's just my desk chair with a lot of books and a load of crap to the side that I've had to push out of the way to get the desk chair in that gap. Hello again. I have finished filming finally for the day. It was a difficult one, not gonna lie. But I'm on my way down now and I'm gonna make myself a fish finger sandwich, which I think I've had a fish finger sandwich in this vlog already. That's the plan. I'm gonna make myself a sandwich, and then after, in fact no, whilst I'm waiting for my sandwich to cook. Whilst I'm waiting for my sandwich to cook, we will discuss what I thought of the first 400 pages of Clockwork Angel. So, the first 400 pages of Clockwork Angel. It's here, by the way. There's all my tabs so far. You can see how much I have left to read from where there are no tabs. Obviously, I'm not going to sit and go through the tabs. I might go through a few of them when I finish. I think I've got about 85 pages left. My plan is to finish it over the weekend if I do like 30 pages a day. I'm going to be honest, I'm really struggling. I've reached a point where I just don't want to be reading it. I don't like rereads for this reason, because I already know what happens, so there isn't a point in me like going over it again. So I'm just like bored at the moment, and like Gem's hardly ever in it. If Gem was in it, I would be fine, or like Magnus, but they're not, so ignore the like really harsh light on this side. Obviously the window's there, as you can see. Here we have it. What do I really have to say about Clockwork Angel thus far, with about 80 pages left to go? I'd say a lot of my opinions haven't changed so far. Everything is, I would say the only I'd say the only opinion that has actually changed a lot is like Tessa. I went into this like I'm going to like Tessa by the end of it, and honestly I actually like her less. I will say the foreshadowing has been funny so far. It's like very obvious foreshadowing. Obviously it's not the first time round, but looking back on it, there's like a good 3 times. In fact, even more when people are described as like metal. You know, his teeth glinted like metal. There was something Tessa was wearing that was like metal, and I was like, especially when she was referring to the actual robot things, and it was like, oh, the teeth were like metal, like, oh, it's because they literally are metal. Like, it was just some really blatant foreshadowing that just felt so like out of place and a bit like that's not even foreshadowing really, is it? Like, it's just subtly telling us the truth. So far, I don't know if you can tell from all of my things, there has been a lot more Will than anybody else. This is actually, I didn't realise that was going to be what came out of this, but there is so much Will Herondale in this book. I kind of knew there was going to be a lot because this is very Will focused. Well, the whole series is very Will focused, but especially this one, we see more Jem in the second book. But I was like surprised at just how much Will there is in comparison to like literally every other character. As far as Will goes, I will say that he's not a very nice person, is he, in book one? Obviously, as the series goes on, you like come to understand why he is the way he is, and it all makes sense. And I do like him. But reading book one, I cannot understand how people, when they'd only read book one, actually liked him. I can only think that it was people basing their opinions entirely off how he looks. Because as a person, he is horrible in this book. And I just didn't understand how anybody could find him in any way attractive, because he looks good, but oh my god, he is like so disrespectful to everybody. Like I said, obviously that gets explained later, but just like from the knowledge of this book, like, honestly. Jem is exactly how I remember Jem, other than the fact that I don't remember him being, like, funny. Like, he has quite a sarcastic sense of humour that I don't remember, and I feel like we deserve to see more of in the recent books. I feel like we haven't had any sarcastic Jem, and there's a lot of sarcastic Jem in this, and I want to see more of him. And as far as the relationship between the two of them go, obviously we haven't finished yet, but, like, I don't think there'll be too much to comment on the rest, because a lot of it is just, like, Tessa and Mortmain. But I've actually been quite surprised by what I've got out of it. Obviously, I went into this because I don't know how long this vlog has been. You might have forgot by now. But I mentioned at the beginning that the point in me doing this for my English coursework is that I need to be making comments on the power dynamic between Will and Jem. And I went into this thinking that because Will is the traditionally more masculine character, he would have more power, like, in the dynamic between them. But I've actually found that Jem does, which I was quite surprised at. And the more I've gone through it, I think it's more because I was looking at it in terms of instrumental and expressive roles. If you don't know what those are, instrumental roles are the traditionally masculine roles of like going out and like the breadwinner and all that stuff, and the expressive role is the traditionally feminine role of sort of emotionally supporting everybody. And Will and Jem do in many ways kind of fit into those, but what I didn't take into account is that as much as the traditionally masculine character is usually the strongest, what isn't covered a lot in that sense is that quite often it is the expressive role who has, I suppose, emotional power in a dynamic. And what I've found is that while Will is definitely the instrumental role, as in the brash, very masculine character, Jem is kind of the character who keeps him on a leash. So Will's like doing all of this stupid stuff and being rude to everybody and shouting in people's faces and getting himself into danger. And Jem is the one who's like, hey, don't do that. Don't talk to them like that. Stop doing that. You shouldn't be doing this. That's kind of his role. He's kind of like a mum trying to stop their annoying child from being annoying. And that isn't something I thought to consider going into it, that quite often the expressive role has that sort of power that isn't necessarily documented in the way that power from a instrumental role is. And so I wasn't expecting it, but I do think it's something I can work with, and it's something that I can make a comparison between when I do the same thing for City of Bones. It's just a complete shock. I didn't expect to go into it with Jem being that character, but he very much is. There were so many times in this where he kind of has to tell Will off for doing something, or have a go at him for talking to somebody in a certain way, or like Will will say something that's like completely rude and Jem will be like, what he means to say is, and go over it like that. There's times that bit where he literally pulls Will into the carriage to stop him from starting an argument in the street with Gabriel Lightwood. That's very much his role. Then of course you've got the other bits where there's kind of moments in this that sort of imply that Jem sees himself as slightly more intellectual to Will, which isn't necessarily true, but there are quite a lot of bits where Jem will cut him off to say something or to correct him on something. And so, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to come out of this, with still 80 pages left, remember, thinking that actually Jem has the more power in the dynamic, which is just completely different to my hypothesis, which is obviously what I'm sticking with. But yeah, which is very interesting, and I'm actually quite glad that we've had something different to what I was just assuming it was going to be, which does make me wonder what will happen when I reread City of Bones for the same purpose. But as far as the actual story goes, like I said, I am struggling because obviously rereading it isn't as great. I'd say my favourite scenes are still my favourite scenes, like the robots on Blackfriars Bridge. That's my favourite scene in the book. I also still enjoyed the like party at the vampire's house where Will bites the vampire and all of that. I'd say they are still like my top 2 scenes in this. Every other character, other than like a bit of Tessa, my opinion has stayed very much the same, although I am actually enjoying Henry and Sophie more as characters. I never like dislike them, but they just like weren't my favourites, but I'm finding them like a lot more interesting than I remember them being. Charlotte as well, I don't think we ever give Charlotte enough attention in the fandom or respect for like just like not slapping Will every 5 seconds, because I think everybody should. Tessa for the same purpose, like we should at least give her some rep for not hitting him. Jem did, so we can't give Jem rep for not hitting him. However, that was a very iconic scene that I really wish was in this book because I want to reread it. Although I might still use that for reference purposes, because I don't just have to refer to this, I'm just rereading this in City of Bones for the majority of the quotes. I could still refer to the fact that he punches Will in the face. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling so far. I am actually really happy with what I found as far as the actual reference purposes go and like what I've been doing for research. It's a shame that I'm not enjoying the actual book more. I do kind of feel like rereading books sometimes ruins them for me, and I am like a bit like, I wish I could just pretend that this never happened, like just erase it from my memory and then be like, oh yeah, the first time I really enjoyed it, instead of thinking, wow, yeah, it was difficult when I reread it. Obviously, because the plot hasn't been as great, because like I said, I know what's happening, so I haven't been reading it like, oh, this is exciting, because I'm like, yeah, I know what happens next. But that aside, it has been very good for my coursework purposes, and I have only about 85 pages left to read, which a lot of this probably won't be tabbed because I believe the majority of it is just like Mortmain and Tessa. Mortmain just appeared on the doorsteps with some really crap lie, like, oh no, I don't know where De Quincy is and his robots, like some naff excuse. So very nearly done, so hopefully over the weekend I can actually finish this off. Jem just found church. Finally. So I've got another 30 pages read. We've got 50 pages left to go. I'm enjoying this bit because we're in sort of all of like the end stuff now, sort of like the big fights and things that are taking place at the end. Jem just rescued Church. I was reading it like, is that going to happen in this book or is it the next one? Because I thought it was the first one and then it happened and I was like, thank God. I just absolutely adore Church and I just adore Jem for rescuing him. I also forgot just how horrible Nate is, like, as a person. I remember, like, him doing something bad and that he was in some way involved, like, with Mortmain. But I forgot that he, like, straight up tries to kill Tessa. Like, what a nice guy he really is. And it's not even as if he's, like, being, like, mind-washed. Well, he kind of is, but, like, a lot of it, it's just because he just wants to, like, have money, basically. He's like, yeah, look at me. I have all this money now. And I'm like, oh my God, shut up. But yeah, 50 pages left. They're about to go into the room where they meet the vampires and things. I literally just read it. That shows my memory perfectly. But they're just about to go in there, so I know we're getting towards the end because that's like where the final like showdown with Mortmain is. So we're like right there. Will just left Jem at the mansion. So yeah, very little bit to go. We're nearly at the end. Who knows how long this picking vlog has been. It hasn't even really been a vlog. I think I've only picked up my phone when I've been reading, because if I've been vlogging what I've been doing every day, we'd be here forever. Just for context now, this has been going on for nearly a month. Which is why there hasn't been like, this is a day, this is what I'm doing, because it's happened for nearly a month now. It's just been difficult rereading, I think, but almost there. Guess what I just finished? Yay! Clockwork Angel is officially done with. I'm so happy. It took me so long. I go on holiday tomorrow. I think at the beginning of this, I was like, oh, it'll only take me like maybe 2 weeks. Well, a month later, we're finally done. I've done it. I've finished it. Everything's fine. I don't really know what to say. I feel like I said a lot earlier on when I had about 80 pages left. We could quickly have a look at some of the things I've highlighted, because obviously I keep showing you this with all my tabs and not giving overly an explanation as to what they are. So I think I mentioned that the light pink is points about Jem, blue is points about Will, and the dark pink is points about their relationship. The reason that is because I need to obviously talk about the power dynamic between them, and something that comes into that is the representation of them as characters apart from each other, as well as their representation like as a dynamic, which is why there's points about them separately, because I need stuff to refer to, so I could describe them as a person and then say this aspect of their personality will also have an effect on their relationship. I'm literally holding my phone. I don't quite know how I can hold, and what if I balance you on my laptop? Hello, grey lighting, I know, because we've got all the sun coming through in the back, but I don't really have anywhere else I could put you. And since when did we care on here about how it looks? So to look at some points, those ones at the back are longer because I haven't cut them down yet. These were all, like, originally that size, and then I just chopped them down with a pair of scissors, so I need to do them. And then I'd quite like to get some new tabs so they, like, look slightly nicer than that. I could talk about the wheel points first. I'm not going to sit and, like, go through things, but just to kind of show you what I mean. Because to be fair, there's, like, a lot. I don't know if you can see how many blues there are. There are so many blues because Will is like the only character in this book. So towards the beginning, I kind of started with general points about things they were doing. So like even down to simple actions of the way they would look at people and speak to people. So I could then refer to it later and talk about how either actual descriptions of them or their body language or how they're speaking to people shows who they are as a character. So there's a lot of little ones. If I show you all the purple highlighting is points I've made about Will. See, like this is closer to the beginning, so we just have points like adjectives that are used to describe him as, I think, ferociously is on there. Just little things like that, little like description words that I can use to refer to them. And then as we go further into it, towards the end, there's less points because I sort of zoned in on things, because I only need so many adjectives. There's only so many times I can be like, Will's described as ferocious or annoying or like that kind of thing. Then we have points more like these ones, which are things people have actually said about those characters in particular. So there's Will again. I think is that Jessamine talking there, quite likely. And then we just have sort of like general things, like I said, fewer points, but sort of more specifically on certain aspects of them rather than just like adjectives. A lot of these are also like comparisons I made between Will and Jem, but like that weren't really about their relationship and more as they are as people. So there's one, I think that's the only one that's blue and purple. Blue is Jem, because I thought that's a very good point I can use for them, but it's not really their relationship. It's more just drawing a point of saying that Will isn't like Jem. So those sort of things are sort of what comes towards the end, the more vague points that I'm going to have to analyse more. And then, of course, I did the same for Jem. Although, overall, there was a lot less Jem in this than there was Will. So, like, it was kind of hard. There's, like, noticeably less, like, pink. In fact, where's my... These are the tabs, the little rectangle ones that are, like, half missing. This blue one that's stuck to my finger is the final dark blue tab that I was using for Will. So there's one of those left. There were dark pink ones. All the dark pink ones that I was using for the relationship points have gone. And then you see that little pile of pink ones? Those are the ones I was using for Jem. So you can see in comparison to what was left of the other two, how like less I had to use of those tabs for Jem, which I think just shows how little there actually was in comparison for Jem. A lot of these are also quotes I find for Jem. I mentioned a lot of his description more towards the beginning, how people talk about him, but people generally talk about him less. Then there's stuff like this, which is again sort of close to the beginning. Again, the light blue is all Jem. And this is all kind of like sort of description of how he's behaving. So I can talk about body language as well as actual the words he's saying and talk about, rather than just because obviously it's English. So I can't just rip apart what he's saying word for word and be like, he said this or somebody said he's like this. I also have to actually analyse his dialogue and refer to how the different words he's using in his speech say something about him as a person. And then again, towards the end, it's mainly just kind of vague points that I'm going to have to analyse a bit more in depth. I'm also going to admit I did just highlight some of Jem's quotes, not because I needed them, but I was like, I really like that. I'm sure I can find a way to use it. And I also highlighted a few of the foreshadowing points with Jem, because whereas obviously the foreshadowing of Will's storyline is also in there, it's more kind of from his perspective of him being like everything's so difficult when you can't love people and all of that. But with Jem, it's 10 times worse because it's like really subtle to the point it's frustrating me that I didn't pick up on it first time. I'm going through it and there's like little things like near the end. I think I probably highlighted it. Tessa refers to his runes as looking quite like the pattern on a Silent Brothers robes. And I just sat for a moment and was like, this isn't funny. This is so horrendously subtle that there was no possible way I was going to pick up on it first time. And there's several times, the one I just landed on now is the bit where Tessa's like, oh, like, I don't know why anybody would want to be a silent brother. How could you live like that? And then Jem replies, I suppose it depends what you're living for. And I was just like, please, Cassandra Clare, stop. Don't do this to me. And I hated that. But that's not the kind of thing I was supposed to be commenting on, but I did end up highlighting bits like that just because I wanted to be able to look back on it. There's some examples of what I mean by, like, smaller phrases. The blue ones, a lot of them we just have, like, just singular adjectives and things being, like, referred to, just so I can refer to them on their own, which I thought will come in handy if I need to specifically refer to a character as a certain way. And then we have the relationship points. The relationship points are mainly dialogue because obviously I'm talking about the dynamic between them, so a few of them are other people looking in on Will and Jem's relationship and like saying like, oh, they're like this together or they're like that together, but the majority of it is their own speech, so either to each other or about each other to someone else. So there's a lot of bits in this where like in fact that specific yellow on the page I'm on now, that's Will asking if Jem's okay. Little things like that where I can just talk like very vaguely about it, like more smaller points, and be like, oh well, they sort of refer to each other like this, it shows concern for the other person, that sort of thing. A lot of it is also just sort of like entire conversations between them, because I might not pick up on anything looking at it directly now, but when I sit and go through and analyse it, because I have to do that when I get back from holiday, it's not just a case of highlighting and tabbing. I have to go back through everything I've highlighted and tabbed and actually sit and annotate and analyse everything that I've highlighted, and I have to do all the same for City of Bones as well. But like, I thought if I highlight long passages and then talking to each other, then I will find things when I go back over it, because when it comes down to the actual dynamic in the dialogue, I'm going to be looking a lot more in detail for very specific things. A big thing I've been noticing a lot is tag questions. Will uses a lot of tag questions, which are like when you speak to someone and you throw like an is it on the end, like something as if you're looking for an assurance from the other person, like, oh, this happened, didn't it? Or I said this, didn't I? Or this is cool, isn't it? Things like that, those questions on the end, because you're looking for reassurance from someone else. I noticed Will uses them quite a lot when he's talking specifically to Jem, as if he's constantly wanting some sort of reassurance from Jem. But then there's the sort of simpler things, I suppose, like cutting each other off. Jem cuts Will off a lot more than I was expecting. I went over this before, how I thought that Will would hold the power, but I've realised quite quickly that Jem actually seems to hold the power in the conversation the majority of the time, or when Will does seem like he has power in the conversation, it comes across more as like a child throwing his toys out the pram than him actually having power in the conversation. So there is a lot to talk about, which I'm very happy about. I'm glad that I got this many tabs out of it. I'm going to have to buy some new ones before I start City of Bones after my holiday. But I'm very glad that it came out like this, because I have so much to talk about. I was a bit concerned that my hypothesis was going to be correct and Will was going to have all the power and it was going to be super easy and I wasn't going to have much to write about. But it's turned out completely different, and I'm hoping we get something similar when I read City of Bones, because I'm doing the exact same thing with City of Bones, but I'm talking about the relationship between Jem and Alec instead. But yeah, I am very happy about what I've got out of this. I will say, when it comes to like the general reread and what I thought of it, not many of my opinions changed from the first time around. Some of them got better. I decided that I liked a lot of the characters more. Sophie, for instance, I wasn't like Sophie's biggest fan. Like, I did not like her or anything. I liked her as a character. She just like wasn't one of my favourites, but now I'd say that she's quite possibly one of my favourites. The majority of people I don't think any different. Jem's still the star. Will's still slightly annoying, but he has his reasons. Jessamine's still annoying as anything. Tessa, I still haven't decided on. I was hoping that I'd come out of this liking Tessa more. I'd say that I've come out of it tolerating her better. Now, I feel like I never mentioned this, but now, as the current series stands with like Queen of Air and Darkness, Ghosts of the Shadow Market time, I do like Tessa as a character, because I think she's matured a lot. And I think she's great as a mother and as a carer for Kit as well. But in the Infernal Devices, I always found her a bit immature, and I didn't like some of the ways that she spoke to people and some of the ways she acted. I wasn't a fan of. And there was more things that I picked up on in some cases, but at the same time I would say that I'm more tolerant of it now. I can sort of see the reasons why she may act that way. Other than that, I don't really think I have anything to say. Obviously it was difficult to read because I know the story, and going back through the story is never something I enjoy doing, which is why I don't tend to reread, because I've read it once, I know what happens, therefore it's kind of boring. The same as I don't rewatch movies or TV shows really. But it has been fun kind of reliving some of the scenes that I originally liked from this and sort of the ones that stick in my head a lot more, and also seeing all the ins and outs and the little conversations that I forgot about first time. So yeah, I would say as much as this has been difficult, it's also been enjoyable in its own way. I am still dreading having to do the same with City of Bones, because I do enjoy Clockwork Angel more as a book than I enjoyed City of Bones. But you know, I guess we'll see. So with that, I think that is finally the end of this vlog. I am so sorry if this is a million years long and it's literally the most unorganized thing, because I think it is. I don't even know where the rest of the footage from this is. It's all floating around somewhere. Some of it's in a folder on my phone, some of it's not in a folder on my phone. So it's going to be a nightmare to put together. And I'm quite concerned, to be honest, that it's going to be horrendously long and horrendously bad, because it's just me with a shaky camera. Like, so this is what I think, like, over and over again for like 45 minutes or something. So I'm sorry if that's what this is, but I have finished it. When I've done City of Bones, I think I'm going to do a video kind of going over my thoughts on it and overall what I got out of rereading both of them. With that, that is it. We are done. This is it. I'm going to sign off quickly before like this ends up being any longer than it needs to be and takes like hours for me to upload. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end of this really horrific vlog. It's not even really a vlog, is it? Thank you if you somehow managed to make it this far, and I will see you very soon. Bye!